Viewers, I'm your host M.A. Jaja and you are watching YouTube channel ETV 786, which is an education gateway and easy guide for business students. ETV 786 presents course number 9, Business Communication. This is an easy guide for business students. In this guide, we'll cover all you need to know to set up a successful business communication process in your business. The course topics of course number 9, Business Communication are: number 1, the definition of business communication; number 2, types of business communication; number 3, methods used for business communication; number 4, problems that can be solved through effective business communication; number 5, essentials of effective business communication; number 6, business communication process, and many more. Definition of business communication. Business communication is the process of sharing information between people within the workplace and outside a company. Effective business communication is how employees and management interact to reach organizational goals. Its purpose is to improve organizational practices and reduce errors. It is important to work on both your communication skills and communication processes to achieve effective business communication. Importance of business communication. The importance of business communication lies in: number 1, presenting options or new business ideas; number 2, making plans and proposals, that is business writing; number 3, executing decisions; number 4, reaching agreements; number 5, sending and fulfilling orders; number 6, successful selling; number 7, effective meetings; and number 8, providing feedback to employees and customers. When communication becomes unclear, all organized activities in a company relies on the process of business communication and your communication strategy. This could be anything from managerial communication to technical communication with vendors. And once communication becomes unclear, the company's core system risks falling apart. Data shows that 70% of internal communication professionals do not measure internal communications. Why communication is important? Strong communication strategy in a company will likely result in higher employee engagement. And companies with connected employees in a workplace have seen a spike in productivity of up to 25%. Two hows are important. Number 1, how much more successful would you be if you had better employee engagement? And number 2, how can you ensure a business communication process that will make it possible? Types of business communication. There are two core types of business communication. Number 1, internal communication. This is the type of communication which deals communication inside the organization. And number 2, external communication. This type of communication deals with the entities outside the organization, such as customers, vendors, etc. Internal business communication. Internal business communication can be of three types. Number 1, upward communication. Any communication that comes from a subordinate to a manager or from another person up the organizational hierarchy. Number 2, downward or managerial communication. Anything that comes from a superior to a subordinate. And number 3, lateral communication or technical communication. Internal or cross-departmental communication between co-workers. External business communication. It involves dealing with customers, vendors, or anything that impacts your brand. You can sort all communications in this spectrum into 5 types of business communication. Number 1, getting and receiving instructions. Number 2, sharing and discussing information. Number 3, giving feedback. Number 4, problem solving and decision making. And number 5, public relations. External business communication. Number 1, getting and receiving instructions. Getting and receiving instructions and assignments both upward and downward. This includes an effective delegation from one person to another. Most problems in business begin with unclear communications in this area. External business communication. Number 2, sharing and discussing information. Sharing and discussing information, including information sharing that goes on in meetings. When communication fails in this area, it causes tasks to be done improperly or not at all. External business communication. Number 3, giving feedback. Giving feedback, correction and discipline to people who report to you so that they can have the knowledge and the tools that they need to do their jobs better. Giving great actionable feedback is a key skill for anyone in a leadership position. Nonverbal communications and body language also play a role here. External business communication. Number 4, problem solving and decision making. Problem solving and decision making meetings and discussions. These are considered among the most important discussions for any organization. This involves higher critical thinking and better communication technologies. External business communication. Number 5, public relations. Public relations can even be considered a form of external communication that is important to your communication strategy. Business communication services. Business communication typically refers to the act of communicating in your business. On the other hand, business communication services refers to the types of software solutions you could use to help facilitate communication and collaboration across your business. Business communication services includes: number 1, voice solutions like VoIP. Number 2, software that allows you to conduct video meetings. Number 3, email services. Number 4, contact center software that manages communication with your customers. Number 5, service tools that let you take calls and communicate from anywhere. Selecting business communication services. The answer largely depends on the size and preferences of your business. There is no one-size-fits-all solution. One thing is for sure. You will set yourself up for success by only using business communication services you need and will actually use. Example, selecting business communication services. Suppose you want a forum board. So you and your staff spend weeks finding the best solution and setting it up. After a while, you learn that no one is using it because they get their answers quicker from their team and documents. An unnecessary solution has cost you valuable time and money. You install a quality video conferencing system when in reality you only need a reliable business phone system to run your remote meetings. Take time to value the service. Every business will use web-based communications. All the other methods, however, will depend on individual company circumstances. Take the time to mindfully consider the value of each for your unique situation. Problems that an effective business communication can solve. Clear and effective business communication is critical for teams, employees, managers, and executives to perform their jobs and fulfill their responsibilities. Without the right processes and tools in place, the flow of information is interrupted and people are left in the dark. This can lead to serious consequences for the company, from unsatisfied employees and customers to lost profits. Transparent flow of information is an obvious overarching goal of a business communication process. Deeper problems. Number 1. Email overload and lack of everyday productivity and clarity. In many workplaces, people are simply overwhelmed with the number of messages they receive in a single day. We easily misplace or completely overlook a crucial piece of information. With a business communication system in place, companies can reduce digital distractions and create space for ideas and thinking. Deeper problems. Number 2. Horizontal and vertical communication silos. Oftentimes, teams and departments don't exchange essential information. Other times, there is no easy way of reaching out to a department manager when there is an issue inside a team. These silos form easily and often without anyone noticing, but can easily be remedied with a communication plan in place. Deeper problems. Number 3. Poor communication with remote employees. Remote work is here to stay. The state of remote work report from Buffer shows that the vast majority of employees would like to work remotely for at least some of the time. They list collaboration and communication among the top 3 struggles when it comes to working remotely, proving the value of the right communication system in place. Deeper problems. Number 4. Employees turnover or low employee engagement. Losing the ideal people from your organization puts your ability to serve customers at risk. It is also expensive. Losing an employee can cost as much as twice their annual salary, but when companies do communicate effectively, they are 50% more likely to report turnover levels below the industry average. Deeper problems. Number 5. Poor customer service. If there is poor communication in an organization, 2 things happen when it comes to customer service. First, employees in customer-facing roles won't have the information they need. Second, customers will sense low employee morale and have a negative experience. In fact, one study found that employees' attitude improvement impacts customer satisfaction, which then result in an increase in revenue. Nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication covers so much ground, from your facial expressions to your tone in an email. Considering the vast majority of business communication happens asynchronously, meaning anything other than one-on-one or face-to-face meeting, via email, project management taskboards, or chats, almost all our business communication can be considered non-verbal. Therefore, it is incredibly important to work on your non-verbal communication as well. Key takeaways. Number 1. A solid business communication process is essential for the happiness both of your employees and customers. Ultimately, this leads to financial stability. Number 2. Irrelevant information, exclusion, dishonesty, and lack of access to key information is something your own workforce likely experience too. Number 3. A study by Salesforce found that 86% of executives, employees, and educators consider inefficient communication to be the reason behind workplace failures. Number 4. We can no longer ignore the importance of teamwork and chemistry and their impact on employee productivity, engagement, and advocacy. 5-step business communication process. Step number 1. Audit your current state of business communication and set goals. No matter the stage of your business, you need a business communication plan in place. However, you will make it the most useful if you focus on the areas that need the biggest improvement right now and work your way to all other areas later on. 5-step business communication process. Reasons your communication needs revisiting. Number 1. Low employee satisfaction or high turnover. Number 2. Lower than expected outputs across the company. Number 3, fast growth which leads to the losing track of information. Number 4, lack of information transparency due to remote work. 5-step business communication process, setting goals. You might experience more than one of these or a completely different scenario. Identify it and set goals for your business communication process based on it. For example, your goals can include: number 1, a specific employee turnover or satisfaction rate; number 2, customer satisfaction rate; number 3, number of projects completed; and number 4, number of interactions between departments, etc. 5-step business communication process. Step number 2, identify core groups in your organization and their relationship with each other. Look into the structure of your organization and all the groups involved in its ability to function. Take note of every group that requires information to function. That may include: number 1, horizontal classification such as departments. For example, operations, marketing, design, human resources, sales, customer support, finance, etc. Number 2, vertical classification. Professionals in teams, team leaders, department managers, executives, etc. And number 3, external groups. Customers, suppliers, partners, and more. 5-step business communication process, hierarchy or chain of command questions. Number 1, which teams and people have to talk to whom on a daily basis? What about weekly, bi-weekly, and monthly? Number 2, what communication happens only when there is an ongoing crisis? Number 3, how are managers and team leaders maintaining progress in their departments? How does reporting work? Number 4, is there a knowledge library that has the potential to reduce unnecessary meetings and conversations? And number 5, which projects and processes need approval from other people in the company? How are approval requested and facilitated? 5-step business communication process, minimum outcome of rapid questions. At a minimum, the answer of above rapid questions should give you an insight into the necessary amount of emails, messages, calls, meetings, and documents for everything to happen in the designated time frame. 5-step business communication process. Step number 3, define methods of communication. Next, choose the methods of communication that align with your business communication goals as well as the interactions between core groups in your company. Review the list of methods of communication and make sure to add any unique to your company. 5-step business communication process, list of the methods of communication. Number 1, web-based communication. Number 2, telephone meetings. Number 3, video conferencing. Number 4, face-to-face meetings. Number 5, reports and official documents. Number 6, presentations. Number 7, forum boards or frequently asked questions. Number 8, surveys. And number 9, customer management activities. 5-step business communication process, choosing the best outfit. Which one of these are essential for your organization to reach its goals? What is optional and might see resistance in adoption? Which ones create the risk of adding too many tools and should be simplified? Be realistic about your specific needs. 5-step business communication process, example outfit. Number 1, a 5-person startup where everyone works in a same office will likely focus on web-based communication, face-to-face meetings, customer management, etc. Number 2, a 50-person company that is fully remote will invest more resources into phone and video conferencing and document organization to be able to diligently track their processes. Number 3, a large global enterprise will probably use all of the listed methods of communication and have dedicated teams for many of them. 5-step business communication process. Step number 4, choose the right tools. There is no handbook that defines which tools are absolutely best for each purpose. Number 2, Gmail versus Outlook, Google Drive versus Dropbox, Slack versus Nextiva Chat. Number 3, the battles go on, but your choice is entirely up to the preference of you and your workforce. 5-step business communication process, tips for selecting the right tools. Number 1, use cloud storage to preserve important documents and other data. Enable automatic sync and backup to avoid human error. Number 2, use a single platform for email and calendars. Number 3, use a single tool for chat messaging. Number 4, implement an easy to use reliable VoIP phone system if many of your meetings happen remotely. Number 5, develop brand and editorial guidelines that detail the tone of voice and use unified brand elements. 5-step business communication process. Step number 5, document the process. Finally, take note of everything you do throughout the setup and turn it into a shared document visible to entire organization. This way, each employee can refer to an intentionally developed communication plan and decide on the best action for the situation they are in. 5-step business communication process, recurring calendar. The document will also help newly onboarded employees easily grasp all the tools and best communication practices. You can create a recurring calendar reminder for yourself and your team to revisit the document once a quarter. This way, you will ensure the plan is still serving its best purpose and update it if necessary. Forms of communication. Communication takes place either in many forms, verbal or written, in person or remotely, but it is critical to the happiness of your employees in the workplace. Neither of these is better or worse for your company on their own and entirely depends on the context. Written versus verbal communication. Written communication is great for keeping a paper trail of decisions and actions made as well as for putting together strategies and plans in place. Verbal interactions enable instantaneous idea generation and a more open flow of thoughts. Following are the methods of business communication applicable to some or all of the above scenarios. Methods of communication. Method number 1, web-based communication. This includes everyday communication channels like email and instant messaging applications such as Slack, Hangouts, or even Nextiva chat. The benefits of email and messages lie in the ability to lead private conversations in a busy office environment as well as sharing a message with many people from a few to hundreds or all at once. Methods of communication. Method number 2, telephone meetings. Telephones remove the location barrier to running productive, fast-moving meetings. It allows for better idea exchange thanks to the non-verbal communication tone of voice compared to written communication. Cloud phone system can accelerate onboarding and overall team collaboration. Methods of communication. Method number 3, video conferencing. Great video conferencing systems enable people at remote locations to run meetings that feel as close to in-person meetings as possible. They take phone meetings one step up. Methods of communication. Method number 4, face-to-face meetings. In-person meetings can help a business move forward with ideas quickly. Research shows that in-person meetings generate more ideas than virtual meetings. However, having a rock-solid meeting agenda is essential for effective meeting. 46% of employees rarely or never leave a meeting knowing what they are supposed to do next. Methods of communication. Method number 5, reports and official documents. Documenting activities that impact other people and departments is a crucial part of a well-oiled business communication system. The ability to refer to a written document at any moment reduces the chance for confusion or disagreement and provides extra clarity in communication. Methods of communication. Method number 6, presentations. Presentations supported by reports and PowerPoint slide decks are often how meetings with larger groups are conducted. These are great for sharing new ideas in a way that creates space for questions and any clarifications. Methods of communication. Method number 7, forum boards and frequently asked questions. An internal area for employees to refer to frequently asked questions on various departmental topics and to ask new ones that will make them more productive and up to date on a matter. Methods of communication. Method number 8, surveys. Both internal and customer surveys are an ideal way to gather feedback and ratings on important topics. Surveys facilitate a healthy cycle of feedback-supported improvements and open a communication channel between all levels inside an organization. Methods of communication. Method number 9, customer management activities. This can include any customer relations activity. Examples include live chat support, customer relationship management, CRM systems, customer onboarding process, customer reviews, and more. Success starts with communication. Poor communication carries too many risks to any organization to count. Great communication, however, brings an opportunity for outstanding employees and customer engagement. It creates clarity, more significant outputs, and growth in revenue and profit. Prerequisites of good communication system. Number 1. Set and revisit your communication goals. Number 2. Identify everyone involved in process. Number 3. Analyze their needs to communicate with each other and identify methods that make the information flow possible. Number 4. Look for the most appropriate tools and platforms that will enable the methods you identified. And number 5. Share this setup transparently with the whole organization. This is the end of part 1 of business communication. Be ready for business communication part 2. That is going to be very interesting topic and special edition 2022. Keep on connected to the channel and don't forget to provide your feedback through your valuable comments so that we can find your requirements and meet your expectations. Subscribe the channel for latest updates. Bye bye till the next show.